Hey everybody, and welcome back to the studio. We are working on the week of May 4th, and we are making some fun Mother's Day things this week. So dads, you can help them out with this one so they can give a special surprise to mom. That'd be nice. Today we're going to be making this particular picture. This is actually a cutout, this butterfly. So I'm going to be sending home a stencil for that, so that'll help you out with that one. But let me show you the supplies you're going to be needing. Of course, you'll need some watercolor paper, so we got that. You're going to have a stencil that is sent home to you. You are going to need to get one color of construction paper. You're only going to need it for a little butterfly, so you won't need much. And so if you have a scrap of any color that you want to use, that's fine. You're going to need a pencil for your stencil. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need some glue, paper towel, water cup, paint brushes. I use a bigger one for the background and then a smaller one. You're going to need watercolor for the background. And you're going to need, I said glue, I believe. You're going to need some acrylic paint. So in this case, I'm going to be using green, white, red, and black. Okay, so first step, believe it or not, is we're going to go ahead and paint all of our background blue with the watercolors. So I'm going to take my paper and set that down, get my big brush, and just get my blues, and you're going to go all the way down the front side of the paper to get the sky on. We've done that for some other projects, so I'm sure by now you know how to do that pretty well. So I'm just adding blue, okay, all the way down my paper. Just adding blue. Now, after you've done the whole front side of this paper, you're going to want to make sure that it dries real well before you add the rest of the things to the paper. But in my case, I'm going to go ahead and do it so that way you can follow along, but make sure that you let your background blue dry before you add the rest of your paint, okay? So you don't want it too watery, because if you put it too much on, you could rip a hole in your paper, and you don't want that. So I'm just adding a light coat to the top of the paper so that way it can dry fairly quickly. Okay. All right. So I've got blue all the way across the front of my paper. Now that, I'm just going to let it sit over here to dry for a minute while I work on the next step. And the next step is we're going to make our butterfly, okay? So you're going to get your stencil, okay? If you're going to be here at school, I'll bake some butterflies, but if you're at home, you're going to want to get your stencil and you're going to cut that out, okay? So after you cut it out, you're going to place it onto your colored paper. Get your stencil and place it on, and then you're going to draw around it and you're going to cut out your butterfly, just like we've been doing. So I have a cut out butterfly already. So that's what you do with that. You cut that out. And now I'm going to set that aside for a minute. Okay? So the next step we're going to do is we're going to add our stems. Okay? We don't want stems going up in the middle because we won't have space to write Happy Mother's Day. And we don't want it all the way over here because we won't have space for a butterfly. So I'm going to put some stems kind of just going around kind of the edge of the paper. Okay? So that's the first thing that we're going to do as far as the acrylic paint portion goes. So I'm going to get my paper. Now yours should be dry or you won't be painting on this. So let yours dry just a little bit more, okay? Then I'm going to add my colors to my plate. So I've put red and white and green. I put a little black. For my stems, I want them a little darker. So I've taken a little bit of black and mixed it in the corner of my green. I'm going to be using the smaller brush, not the bigger one. We're all done with that one. So now I've got the dark green, mixing a little black into my green. And I'm going to add the stems, okay? So you'll know where to put the roses. So I've got one kind of over here, little one down here. There's one over here, here. Oh, I've got one coming here, over here. We're going to go back and add some leaves later. Right now what we're doing is we're just kind of making a little placeholder for where our flowers are going to be. We're going to be adding the flowers after we do this part. So we've got flowers, and then we have, looks like another one coming over this way. Okay, so there's my stems. See how they go all the way around the paper? And you're leaving plenty of space in here so that you can write Happy Mother's Day and add your little butterfly, okay? All right, so I'm going to set that down, and then I'm going to wash my brush. Remember how we wash and dry our brushes really well. Dry it and set it down. The next step, believe it or not, is I'm going to take the butterfly that I cut out and I'm going to glue that onto my paper because I want to know where it's going to be sitting so that way I'm positive I won't put flour on it, okay, the paint for a flower. So he's going to fly like that. So I'm going to get some glue and put it on the back of my butterfly. It's paper to paper. You could probably use a glue stick if you don't have this kind of glue, and that's fine. Okay. So I'm going to set it like that. I'm going to add some black paint later to add the little body part and on the wings. So it looks just like that flying, okay? Set it down, let it dry. Okay, now you can do this in steps because sometimes my little one's hands might hit the green paint. So if you want to, you could just let this dry at this point, okay? To make sure that all the green is dry before you go back and put your flowers. I'm going to go ahead and start my roses though so you can see what it looks like. All right. So in order to make pink, you need to mix the two colors, the white and the red, together. You can't really see the white. It's kind of a glare. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to take some of the red and put it in a corner of my white here and just start mixing that to make a nice pink color. Our roses have a few different shades of pink. We're going to start with like the medium color pink, and then we're going to add the darker color and the lighter color to it. So we're just going to make circles kind of using this medium pink. Some of you that were here with me last year, at the end of the year, we did a really pretty picture. It had a like a little jar with some roses in it. So it's kind of the same idea to make these particular roses. So I will show you how. Okay, so when we do it, we're just making circle, circle, circle. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, right? Because you want it to look like rose petals. So see how it kind of has movement to it? Kind of wiggles around like that. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. It shouldn't be. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to get that medium colored pink that I mixed up, okay? And I'm going to add it to where I made my little stems, to the ends of the stems, so now we can see where my roses are going to be, okay? So right here, I'm going to go around and around. And we're going to add dark colors and lighter colors after, okay? And then I even make it a little squiggly. Squiggle the edges a little bit so it looks more like a rose petals, okay? See how it's not a perfect circle? We're going to go around and around, but we're kind of make them squiggly. It's okay to be squiggly because we want it to look more like petals, not a complete circle. All right? So you're going to continue to do that on the ends of all of these stems that we made, okay? Just go ahead and make some of them bigger and some of them smaller because they're not all the same size outside, right? The roses are all different shapes and sizes and colors. In fact, I'm using pink to make mine, but if you want yellow roses, you can make yellow ones or red ones, even purple ones you want. Be creative and have fun with it. Okay. So I'm just going to continue to make the little roses, and then I will show you what it looks like at that point, and then we're going to add the darker colors and the lighter colors too. And I think it's going to look pretty good. It's coming along. All right, I'm almost ready to show you what my roses look like. There we go. So see how my roses are coming along now? We're going to start adding some darker color to our roses, and then we're going to add some other things. I'll show you what it's going to look like next. Okay. Now, I'm going to wash and dry the brush, and I'm going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to go back to where my stems are, and I'm going to make some leaves. And the reason I'm doing that is because I can tell that my stems are starting to dry, so that way I'm not going to be mixing up into my pink paint. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that green color that we made, that nice, pretty darker green, and I'm going to start adding some leaves to my stems, okay? So I would just put the paintbrush, let me see if I can show you this, put it on there and press it and pull it back. Press it and pull it, okay? And that's how you make a leaf. Let me see if I can show you a bigger one. Let's see. Over here, I'm going to go press and pull and then make it a little bit of an oval. There you go. Just like that. So you can start adding them, little ones, all around, wherever you feel like you're wanting a nice leaf to be. That's what I would start doing. I'm going to quickly add some on here so you can get the idea of what I'm talking about. And you can put more than one leaf. See how I put 3 leaves right here? 1, 2, 3. Oops, that one's getting a little gloppy, isn't it? A little gloopy. You don't want to put too much paint or you'll have it looking like mine. I'm going to fix it a little bit. Okay, so you can add more than 1 leaf, because if you go outside and you look at rose bushes, they have a lot of leaves, don't they? And sometimes there's a lot of flowers right next to each other. You might see a lot of roses right next to each other. I have a really pretty climbing rose bush by the front door of my house, and on the top it has a whole bunch of roses just blooming or getting ready to bloom right next to each other. And it's going to look super pretty, like an explosion of color. So you can have roses right next to each other on yours, and you can put a lot of leaves. It makes it special, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to keep adding leaves. I'm almost done. If you can see that. I'm adding several leaves to mine. I think I'm almost done. Oops. Got my finger smearing some leaf right there. But let me show you this. I'll see if you can see it. I smeared my leaf right there. But you know what? That's okay. I can fix it. All you got to do is bring your green out and make it a bigger leaf. And then nobody will even know that you made a mistake over there. Just fix it real quick. There you go. Awesome. So I have all of the leaves now that I want on mine. Okay? I feel pretty good about that now. So I'm going to wash off my brush, just like we've been doing, and dry it off. Make sure I get that green out, because now what I want to do is I want to make the darker pink for my roses. So here's what I'm going to do. See if you can see this. I'm going to put some red into that pink that we made, okay? I'm pulling more red, and if you don't have any more red on your plate, put some more red on your plate. Okay, so now I've made it darker. Now I'm going to take just a little bit of the black and stick it in that. See how that's really darkening up nicely? Okay, so that's what I'm going to use for my next step. So I'm going to take that dark red that I made, and I'm just going to put it in the middle, and I'm going to turn it, turn it, turn it, just like that. Let's show you another one. Let's see if I can get up close so you can see it. Oh, I'm moving my camera. Put it in the middle, and then just turn it around. Okay? So I'm going to keep doing that with all of my roses, so they all have a dark part to look at, okay? So all of them, I'm just going to go around and make that darker red on all of my roses. And when we're done with this, we're just going to add like a really light pink to our roses, and that'll make them really special. Hopefully you guys are doing well with yours. They're coming along nicely. I'm almost done adding the dark part on my roses, and then I will show you the lighter that we're going to add. Okay, so here's what it's looking like now. See how we have lots of dark parts on our roses? Next step is going to add the lightness to the roses. So I'm going to take my brush, and I'm going to clean it and dry it, okay? So now you can see that I have the pink, the lighter pink on my plate, and I still have white. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag the white into that lighter pink and back and forth and create an even lighter pink, almost a whitish pink, okay? And that's what we're going to use on our roses to give them some nice highlights. See that? Right there. Okay. So now we're going to do kind of the same thing we did for the dark parts on our roses, but we're going to add the light ones. So now I'm just going to add a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there. See how that's lighter right on this one right here? So the same thing, I'm going to show you one more. A little bit of lightness, just like we did with the dark part, just a little tap and a little turn around. Okay? So I'm going to continue to do that on all of my roses. Just a little tap in the middle and then turn it and put some on the edges, maybe on the outside edges. That would be nice. Remember, I'm not making straight lines. I'm just turning them as the petals might turn. Okay? Keep turning them around and around. Turning, turning. Okay, so now I have all of the white or light parts to my roses. So the next step I'm going to do, we're going to work on our butterfly a little bit, and then we're going to write our Happy Mother's Day. Okay? So for the butterfly, I need a little bit more black. I'm going to use some black. I don't know if you heard my phone buzzing a minute ago, so I'm going to slide over here and just make that not do that again, or at least not loudly. Hold on a second. Okay. So now I'm going to take the black and I'm going to make a little body on my butterfly. Okay? So put the black, just put your brush down in order to do it right here on the edge of this flat part of the butterfly. Okay? And then just make little, it's not really, it's kind of like a fat line. Okay? And it gets thinner up here where the head is. And then I made very tiny little antenna if you want. I just added really tiny antenna. See that? Okay, so now the next step on the butterfly, I'm just going to take some black paint and kind of just outline the edges of the wings, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to add just a little bit more extra, and then we'll be done with the butterfly. So I'm getting a little black with that little brush, and I'm going to go all the way around gently, and it's not a straight line around the edges of the wings, okay? So just going around the edge of the wings. Okay, now this is really two wings right here. So I'm going to bring this in just like that, okay? Then I'm going to add some little dots on my butterfly. I don't have too many decorations, but you know what? You can be creative. If you want to use a different color paint and add some more color and design to your butterfly, you can surely feel free to do that as well. Okay? All right, so the last step to this painting is really writing Happy Mother's Day. And if you want, you can even write a special little message in there, whatever it's going to fit and that you would like to do. I recommend for you all that you take a pencil and write Happy Mother's Day to make sure that it fits. Okay, so if you need to erase it, instead of just taking the black paint and writing right on there. You can also do this and then use a marker over it, okay, as well. I'm going to use black paint, but you can definitely use a marker. So I'm going to just sketch out Happy Mother's Day on here. Hopefully it's going to fit with the room that I've left. Okay, so I've written Happy Mother's Day. It's kind of hard to read. And then for me, I'm just going to take black paint and use that. But again, if you want to use a marker, you can feel free to do that as well, and that'll be just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the letters that I wrote with in pencil. Okay. I think it's working out pretty well. Oh, I'm almost there. A little touch more. All right. And there you go. Now we have a special picture for Mom for Mother's Day. I hope she likes it and I hope you have fun. I'll see you next time.